Hi guys, and welcome to another session of Honest Talk About Women, where you'll learn tips, tricks and strategies on how to navigate the minefields of dating and relationships. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also comment in the comments section. It all helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you've got a story you want to share with viewers, you can contact me on my email address listed below. So let's get into it, guys. This one's about nursing homes. So what's this got to do with dating and romance? Well, believe it or not, we're all mortal and we are all aging. So we're not getting any younger, and a time will come when you're no longer able to look after yourself. And it could happen to you in the next 5 years, 10 years. I like to think myself I'm good to go for the next 40 to 50 years, but you just don't know what's around the corner. The important thing is to remain your current healthy self. Keep slim, keep going to the gym, lots of exercise, lots of social contact, and try and slow down the aging process. But you just don't know what's around the corner and what you've been dealt with what you've been given with genetics from day one. So there will come a time, guys, where you can no longer look after yourself. And it means you cannot shower yourself, you cannot go to the toilet yourself, you cannot put your clothes on yourself, you cannot put your socks on yourself, you cannot cut your toenails yourself. So you've got to do some planning, and you've got to make sure that the house you're in or the house that you want to be in for the rest of your life either is single level or has a lift. But try and keep away from steps, because I know so many people in their late 50s, 60s that have a 3-story house with steps, and they're forever injuring themselves on the steps, either sliding down or stubbing your toe on the way up. So a bit of future planning there. But what's come into my life recently is my father. He's 92. He's an ex-veteran. And we had to put him into a nursing home because my mother could no longer look after him after 65 years of marriage. He was unable to be looked after because he's quite a big guy. And he could no longer go to the toilet by himself, shower himself. He was getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning to start breakfast, turning on the ovens, the elements, turning on taps, and then forgetting what he was doing, then going back to bed again. And when you're living in an apartment complex, there's big insurance issues, because if you flood the apartment down below you, or you cause a fire in your apartment, you're up for some big hefty bills. Yes, insurance covers it, but then insurance will come on and say you're no longer insurable if you're in that state of mind. So there's legal issues you got to work through. So the best fit was to get my father into a nursing home, and it was quite surprising. It's opened my eyes up, guys, as to the crisis that's developing with nursing homes. There's a massive shortage of nursing homes. So the waiting lists can be 1 to 3 years to get in. In the old days, you used to drive up to the hospital and drop your grandfather, grandmother, husband, wife off at the hospital for the hospital to look after you. But they've changed their business model. The public hospitals are no longer into caring, looking after the elderly. They're not running a nursing home. They're into the daycare business of turning people over, getting them in, surgery, getting them better, get them out again. It's quite interesting. My mother, when she had us kids, she spent 2 weeks in the hospital, and then after that, another 2 weeks at Plunkett, which is a newly mothers program to get you used to having kids. I remember my first wife, when she had our first daughter, she was in there within 24 hours, she was told to free up the bed for the next person. So it's a total different ballgame now from what our parents had. But anyway, getting back to the rest home thing, most of these rest homes are staffed by Filipino and Indian staff. Some of them are fantastic and have a warm personality. Others have got the wrong personality for the job and can be quite blunt to some of the men. And it's asset tested, it's means tested. So if you have less than 130,000 assets, the government picks up the tab. Otherwise, you've got to pay 40,000 a year, and that's in US dollars. So what I've noticed with my father being in the rest home, it's been a major relief for my mother. She can get on with her life. She visits him most days, but she's a lot better now. Before, she was suffering sleep deprivation, and she just physically was unable to help my father anymore. So it's quite interesting. It's a veterans home. It's a 50-50 split. Usually in a lot of nursing homes, it's mostly females because they live longer than males. But with a veterans home, you'd expect most guys in there, but it's a 50-50 split. So a lot of the veterans from New Zealand's recent wars, being World War II, the Korean War and Vietnam War, are mostly dead or gone. We only suffered minor casualties in Afghanistan, and we didn't participate in Iraq. So we don't have the big veteran people like the US does. So I visit every Sunday. I take Dad out for a drive and show him the outside world. And he asks the same questions over and over as memory's fading. But what I do enjoy is happy hour every Friday at 2 p.m. They have a beer. They're only allowed one beer because otherwise it affects their medication. But they have some great singers there, people that come in and sing the songs from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And it's just beautiful, beautiful music. Frank Sinatra tunes that the people love. So one thing I've noticed, guys, about nursing homes, it's a very lonely place. Most family members do not come and see their father or mother. When I arrive at the nursing home, it's like the new kid on the block at school. Everyone wants to come up and say, who are you? And what are you here for? So I walk in, usually with my mother, and a lot of the men come up to me and start asking me questions, and they're gathering around me. And it reminds me of when I was a young boy, I went to a new school, and that's the same sort of thing that happened when I went to that new school. So other things I've noticed is people are incredibly lonely. And there's one guy called Trevor. He's an Italian guy, and he wears many different hats. And every day he has a different hat on. And he tells me about his different hats, and I'm not too sure about what he did in his life, but he's very, very sad because his 4 sons that live in Auckland, who live quite close by, never ever come and see him. And he's always waiting at the front door for his sons to come and see him. But I've never seen his sons there, and based on my conversations with the staff, he doesn't get any visitors. So he's a very, very lonely man. And also Christmas carols at Christmas time. Usually some of the songs are quite sad, the Christmas carols, and some of the women are crying because their family never come and see them. And I can understand young families being very, very busy. A lot of young couples got kids. They're doing the PTA thing with schools. They've got sporting events. They've been Uber drivers on the weekend, taking their kids everywhere. They're paying off a 25-year mortgage. They're very, very busy. But it's still no excuse to not go see your parents. It doesn't take much effort, or your parent in a nursing home. Another story is there's a guy called Harry, and he's an ex-Vietnam vet, and there's a bit of romance there. Every time I go there, he's holding hands with another lady, and his wife has previously died, and he's told me some Vietnam stories, and he said it was a crazy war, but it's just quite interesting, the romance that is still occurring at that age. Couples that are in their late 70s, 80s, holding hands. Interesting. It's one thing that people love is romance, and they love physical contact. So it's alive and well still at that age. There's a lot of sexual urges from a lot of the men in the nursing homes, and no matter whether you're in your 70s, 80s, and 90s, or in that final stretch of your life, there's certain things that certain men still are very active. So I've seen it in the dining area where some of the men have inappropriately groped a Filipino nurse, and I'm not too sure whether they're confused whether that's their wife or someone else that reminds them of, or whether they're just satisfying their sexual urges. So who knows, there could be a future business opportunity for an entrepreneur to develop a chain of Hugh Hefner nursing homes for men. That's it for today, guys. I just wanted to say that there will come a time, hopefully it's a long way away, but you just don't know what's around the corner. And there will come a time when you cannot look after yourself anymore. And that's where you go into a nursing home, and your playmate at the time, your partner, your wife, your girlfriend, whoever, is only able to look after you. And it's a true test as to whether they'll come and visit you once you're in that nursing home. And from my experience, a lot of the husbands, a lot of the wives hardly ever visit. of the regular visits is just me and about 2 other people, and I do chop and change some of the days, and do get a feedback from some of the staff how often other family members come. And I can tell you not many family members come, guys. It's pretty depressing, and it's a pretty sad environment. So that will be the true test as to whether your current partner, girlfriend, wife, playmate will come and visit you in the nursing home, because based on what I've seen, guys, it's an incredibly lonely place, and it's a lot of lonely souls there. So it is relieved somewhat by happy hour on Fridays, but that's only 1 episode for 1 hour per 7-day period. So something to think about, guys. Hopefully it's way in the horizon. It's not around the corner, but do have that in mind. Will your current person who you're running with be a loyal companion when you're in a rest home? Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also comment in the comment section. You can also purchase Alpha Dating that has a lot of green and red flags from Amazon ebooks, and it can be with you in your inbox within seconds. Okay, that's it for today, guys. Take care.